Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Yay. And Cooper's keeping a lookout over here for anything that might happen by. I threw some apples out for deer and maybe they'll stop by. I bought those rocket apples. They're super tiny. They're like the size of a small plum. Anyway, the deer dig any apple they can get this time of year. So, I think I said I'm Kendra, this is my channel, and today I'm going to be making something not on my list. Today I'm supposed to be making tuna fish Sammys, and really I could have done that, it would have been easy, but instead I'm going to make chicken, this cabbage slaw, and something I call red rice that I learned to make years ago from an old boyfriend, like seriously an old boyfriend, like I was 15, and his mother made it, and she was, it was in San Francisco, and she was a really amazing cook, and she made this rice that I had never had before. And then, you know, life went on, we both got older, and I never heard from him again after, you know, a year or two of being an item. He joined the Army, anyway. Really, who cares? Anyway, then years and years later, when I was a grown-up, I was visiting some friends with my husband at the time, and they were Guamanian. Chamorro? I don't know the right way to, sorry, I grabbed my microphone again. Pearl clutching. I hope I didn't offend anyone. She was from the island of Guam, which is actually where my husband is right now. Anyway, she is an amazing cook still. Her name was Julia, and she made red rice, and she taught me how to make it. And so I'm going to give it another whirl. I make it maybe once or twice a year. It goes really well with this cabbage slaw and the chicken that I'm going to make. Now, when she did this chicken, she used soy sauce, sugar, onions, and vinegar. I'm just going to hit it with this Ken's Steakhouse Asian sesame with ginger and soy. It's good stuff. I'll put it in here. I love these things. They're Rubbermaid Brilliants. They go in the microwave. They go in the freezer. They don't go in the oven. They've got a rubber gasket, so when you're marinating something, you know, you can flip it upside down and nothing will, you know, so you get all sides and nothing will spill. It's awesome. Anyway, that's my deal today, is going to be a what's for dinner, and that's what it is. Talk to you again in a few. Oh, day 3 of the hostage siege. No puppies. Pretty soon, no honey. Okay, here we go. This is what it's going to look like after I've got it. I didn't use a whole lot. That's maybe half, but really the top half is thinner, so I'm going to call it a third of a bottle, and that's all I'll use. And I'll put it in the fridge, and I'll flip it over now and then when I bake it in the oven, and really it'd be better if I barbecued it outside. Barbecued, grilled it outside. It would be best, but I don't have the option to do that because I don't know where all that stuff is, and it's cold out there. The sun is shining, but it's cold out there. You know what? She woke up out of a dead sleep when I opened the chicken package, so she's fine. The cabbage is sliced, and I only used about half of the cabbage because we're not going to eat that much of it. And plus, I just used the best parts, you know, the really tender parts. And so typically, I would put just straight up sunflower seeds in these, but I realized that I have 2 unopened bags of these, and they expire May 22nd, so I'm going to use sunflower and pumpkin seeds in it. So also, it takes a package of these, 622 and 522. I'll go ahead and use these up. What I do is I crunch up, beat to death the actual, what do you call them, the ramen part, the pasta part, into little bitty pieces so there's not any long strings. And then I put them in a bowl, and then I mix the marinade, which consists of, instead of 2, well, sometimes I use 2, but mostly I use 1 of the little foil marinade packets. Do you know the ones I'm talking about? So I mixed the dry marinade with some oil, and you'll see that in a few minutes. If you've never made it before, you may already know how to make this in your own way. But I tend to switch things up. I'll also put in some green onions. I forgot to chop up an onion for my chicken, but that's okay because that marinade's already got, the chicken marinade already has the flavors in it, so it's not a big deal. I'll save that onion for another thing. So anyway, I still have to add the other things to the slaw. It's actually in a, it's draining. Let's see, I'll go over here and look. There we go. So that's what it looks like, and I'll be back. How do you all crush your ramen? I didn't film it because it's loud, but I take my heaviest, my words, I'm telling you what, ladle. Take my heaviest ladle. This thing is really heavy and big. Sorry, I scared the dog. He said, I thought you were done. And I do that. I don't open it. And I don't hit it so hard that I bust it open, because that can happen too. You don't want to pick that mess up. So that's just curious how everybody else does it. I used to do it with my hands. I just remembered that I like to toast some sesame seeds. So I went over to the spice cabinet and I got some sesame seeds and I toasted them in a pan and added them to this, and you'll just have to trust me, they're in there. If I had to say how much, I'd say 1/4 cup, maybe less. Then I sliced up some cleaned green onions. I think some people call them scallion onions. I just call them green onions. And so, you know, I cut the ends off, both ends, and then I, not all, you know, just a little, trimmed the ends off both ends. And then I peeled off any leaves that looked like, the edges that looked like they needed to come off. And then I rinsed them in cool water, dried them on a paper towel, just damp, you know, tamping them. And then I'm going to put these aside and put them in after I get the rest of the stuff, but they're done. This looks like it's really, really full, but if you make things with salads, with cabbage, you know that cabbage tends to shrink down, which reminds me, I think the reason it does that is the sugar that's in this. I almost forgot to do that. That's how good I am at following a recipe. I'm just kind of half doing it from memory. So there's the ramen on the bottom, cabbages in the middle, and, you know, sesame seeds that I toasted. And then here's the other seeds, pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. And the green onions, like I said, I'm going to put those on last. Got to put some sugar in this. Not a whole lot, just enough to affect the cabbage. A lot of people will put these. Oh, this has also got that. I used 2 packages of the ramen season mix. Ramen season mix, toasted sesame oil, but the majority of this is just a vegetable oil and sugar. So I'm getting on that next. I'm going to dress this. That it'll be probably 3/4 of the size after it's done, you know, dissolving and melding together and all of that. And that's that. I should have titled this, What Not to Do. Don't forget to add apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a bunch more sugar than I thought. It's, when you look at a recipe that I looked at, it says a cup. I might have put a 1/2 cup in here. I just don't, you know. Anyway, it turns out looking like this, and I'm going to pour that over the salad, and we'll be good. Okay, it's in the container, so I can flip this around and shake it and, you know, put it upside down if I have to, and I will at some point, so that everything, all of that ramen gets nice and chewy and nothing is left crunchy in it. That's always, yeah, when you find some crunchy left in it from your ramen that didn't have enough dressing. Okay, so I'll put this in the refrigerator and I'll get on to making the red rice. And this is the flavor. I don't know how other people say this word, but ashoti, it's annatto powder. It's what makes the rice red. And in my case, it's never really red. It's more of a orange. So for this recipe, I'll need rice, onion, bacon, and this powder. Here we are with the red rice, the beginnings of red rice. I'll be making this in my Instant Pot, but the ingredients are, I use jasmine rice, this powder. You know, when I first started making this, I could never find the powder here. our town was a lot smaller back then. There weren't many options or even grocery stores. But anyway, I used to use the seeds, the whole seeds. If you could only find the whole seeds, all you have to do is drop those in like a cup of boiling water. Like off the stove, you boil it, then you put it in a cup, and then you add the seeds. And you stir that around, and you crunch at it, and you crush at it with a spoon, and you try to get as much color off the seeds as you can. But with the powder, you get insta-color, you know. And I put the entire package of this in there. This has been my experience. On the back here, I believe it says a tablespoon or something. Simply dissolve 1 teaspoon. Yeah, before adding your rice or whatever. So maybe I'll do half, but to me, I don't taste much. You know, it's just the color I'm after. Anyway, jasmine rice. This seasoning powder that's red, I'll show it to you. And 1 medium chopped onion. And I use 3/4 of a pound of chopped bacon. And I just use the Farmland Classic Cut bacon. And I'll do it in the Instant Pot, and I will take a picture of it maybe when it's done. Oh, I should show you the powder. Here you go. That's what the powder looks like. Oh, now it's on the tablecloth. But anyway, it does stain. And used to, if you didn't use a spoon and you were done in the water and the seeds was cool, you could, you know, kind of rub the seeds together under the warm water, and you would have red fingers. So anyway, this is the color that the rice will end up being. It's not really a red, but it's more, what would you call that? A golden orange, maybe, sunset. I have the rice in the bottom, the bacon, the echote seed, and here comes the rest of the onions. I did have something I could do with that onion that I forgot for something else. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, I bet that was really loud. I forget. Now I'm just going to chunk up the bacon so it's not in strips like this. It's cut, but I need to pull it apart. And that's it except for the water. So I'm going to add 4 cups of water to this, put it on my rice method in my Instant Pot, and walk away. Okay, everything's in the Instant Pot. Turn it around the right way, Kendra. See if we can't get it on first try. Boom. I'm getting better at that. Okay. That away from me. Where's my rice sitting? Rice, rice, rice. Where are you? Oh, there you are. And see how that works. I hope I was supposed to do that. See, for years and years and years, I did my own rice without an Instant Pot, and even know what an Instant Pot was back then when I started doing this in the 80s. I did it on the stovetop in a pan, you know, a pot. But I had an electric stove for years and years and years, and now I have a gas stove, and I cannot, for the life of me, get it on a setting that allows me to just get it down low enough to cook rice. So we're using Instant Pot from now on. Oh, scare me bad. I'll let you know how it goes. Here we go. And this wraps up my what's for dinner. Full disclosure, I added more sauce on this after it was done cooking. So I've got a chicken thigh, Asian cabbage salad, and red rice, and water. So, was fun. Let's do it again sometime. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you when you see this on Thursday. Have a nice night. Bye.